Ronan, thanks so much for agreeing to talk to us
Thank you,
today.
Owen. Good to see you.
So I know you've got a new album coming out, but just give us an update of what you've been doing in the last few
I've
years.
been
I
making
guess.
this album for the last couple of years. I've also been wrapping up Boyzone, which was something we've been, all the last year was dedicated to the last year of Boyzone, I guess, 26 years. It's been amazing. It was amazing to say goodbye the way we wanted to say goodbye. We toured the world saying goodbye to everybody, very successful, and we got to write the chapter ourselves, the last chapter of the band, and walk away amicably, all of us, because a lot of bands would, the first time we did it, we all fell out pretty much. There was arguments, there was this, there was that, but we're very close as a band, and it was nice to do it together, say goodbye, and Duster was over my house 2 weeks ago. We had dinner together, and I was talking to Shane yesterday. Mick texted me, wish me happy birthday. We're all still in touch. It's nice.
Have you got like a WhatsApp group going on?
We do have a WhatsApp group,
off.
actually. Yeah, we do have a WhatsApp group. Won't tell you what it's called. And now I've just been working on the album, which is ready now. Finally, it took me nearly 2 years, a year and a half. First single's out with Emily Sandé, and the rest of the album I'm about to announce next week, which is very exciting because there's quite a lot of collaborations on it, which for me is a big deal.
Yeah, that's perfect. So the album's 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously 20 years since your solo release. So
Yeah.
how does it feel releasing this 20 years later, I guess? Because you've got some elements from your albums in this new one as well.
Yeah, there's 3 songs that I've revisited and reworked. 3 songs that I'd be known well for, my bigger songs. And it was quite a challenge changing them, working them up to feel different.
So you've completely changed them, haven't
Well, pretty much, yeah. Well, no, say that. Some are collaborations, and then some are, reworked and they change. So it's quite different. I don't want to give too much away, but Life is a Roller Coaster I could talk about. It was, every time I went into the studio on that one, felt like I was doing a karaoke version of that song.
Okay.
It just felt like that's Life is a Roller Coaster. It's such a great pop song. How do we change it? So every time we went back in the studio, it was the same song, and then it just sounded, the groove sounded cheap, or this sounded wrong, and the na-na-nas didn't work. And so I actually called my son Jack. He's 21. He's into very different music to me. He's into urban hip hop, rap. And I said, if you were to take that song and, with your influences, what would you do with it? And without giving too much away, basically, he kind of inspired me to take it down a road. If Daft Punk got their hands on Life is a Roller Coaster, I think that's what they'd make it sound like. So that's kind of where I've ended up with it, which is different. It's a very different feel, but it had to be different. Otherwise, it just sounded like a bad karaoke version of my own song.
Is that not absolutely terrifying, knowing that you're going to re-release the song?
Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. Absolutely. And some people will go, I can't believe you touched it. It was fine the way it was, or whatever, But yeah, it's my song, and I can do what I want, I suppose,
Yeah, that's absolutely it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's your property.
That's it.
And let me see. So, what piece of advice, I guess, would you give to someone who was, I don't know, starting off in the music industry these days? Because it's completely different from when you started off.
Yeah. I'd say, have good people around you that are going to protect you. Protect your brand, protect who you are, your vision, and be true to that and stick with it. There's plenty of people doing the same thing, and if you can be unique and keep your feet in the ground, I think people. There's a space, and there's a space for everybody. There's great talent coming out of this country. I love seeing the young talent like Wild Youth or Amy, or that are up and coming acts here in Ireland that I have, I hope helped. They think I've helped them out over the years, in the early years. That I it's exciting for the Irish music industry.
And have you got a favourite Irish artist?
Van Morrison is one of my favourites. U2, Thin Lizzy, of current standing. I think it's great. It's a great time for Irish music. Script are, they're great pop band, make great music.
There's even like the likes of, I don't know, Niall Horan.
And Niall's, there you go. Yeah. Niall is great, and I love what he's doing. I think Niall is staying true to what he believes in. He's going down a road. He's working very hard. He travels non-stop. He's in the studio, he's on tour, and he seems like a really, like I've met him a couple of times, I don't know him particularly well, but he seems like a good, grounded lad. I think it's great what he's doing, and flying the flag for Ireland, very much
It's
so.
not too dissimilar from what you did as well. I mean, I know you're an Irish group, but then going off on your own.
Yeah, I mean, One Direction were stratospherically huge compared to Boyzone, but yeah, I guess it's just, it's all relative to the time and so on. Hosier, I love Hosier, I love what he does, he's awesome. Glenn Hansard is one of my all-time favourite Irish artists. I listen to Glenn all the time and take inspiration from his writing, his performances. So yeah, there's so many. I mean, there are so many great artists.
There's always new people coming out as well,
constantly.
Which is great.
Dermot Kennedy. I mean, I saw Dermot play on the B stage at the Soho House Festival about 3 years ago. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. And he was only signed, I think, and he was only starting. And I'd heard some rumblings about him, and I went and I stood and watched him, and I thought, man, this kid's he's got something. And here we go. Look what he's doing. It's great.
Yeah. So you started off with Boyzone, and then you went on to your solo career, and then you did some acting and some. You went off to Australia.
Yeah.
Did your own. Was it the X Factor?
X Factor and The Voice. I did both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have your own radio show in London.
Yeah.
How do you keep adapting yourself kind of to these?
Well, we have to. People who do what I do. The industry's changed so much since I started. It's different, I think, for people maybe starting now because. It will be all encompassing, and it's all so much for them to establish themselves and to be out there doing what they're doing constantly. But I mean, I hope I'm established at this stage that you need to find new ways to stay current or to stay in people's minds, and so we've got to try new things all the time. And so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I've been lucky to enjoy different things like acting and radio and TV and so on. So yeah, I'll continue to do that. I love it, but that is the challenge. It's to constantly stay current and
which one do you prefer doing?
I love acting.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I haven't had the time to do more. I've done 2 films and I'd like to do more. I've done an Australian TV drama which I really enjoyed.
Okay.
I'd like to do more. There's some things come my way and they're not right, but finding the time will be the challenge, and when I get that, I will focus more on it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So cast your mind back to 1997. The Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
What was that like to host? I mean,
it was
you were
mental.
still in Boyzone at the time.
I was in
weren't you?
Boyzone. Boyzone did what we call the river dance slot. So Boyzone performed in the middle, just after all the performances before the votes. So yeah, very much in Boyzone. And I hosted it with Carrie Crowley. Carrie Crowley, am I saying that right? Or Crowley? Carrie Crowley, I think. And it was mental. It was crazy. I mean, we rehearsed for weeks and weeks and weeks beforehand. I was scared stiff. 300 million people, I think, something like that.
Was that your first?
That was my first hosting gig, I
Wow.
think. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, definitely. And then I went on to do MTV Europe Music Awards after that. So
cool.
that was the stepping stone, I guess. Or I think I went on and I did Miss World. I hosted Miss World. Then I hosted MTV Europe in Rotterdam, and then I hosted it the next 2 years, 97 and 99. So 97 I did MTV in Rotterdam, Europe Music Awards, and then I did 99 in Dublin. I hosted them. It was amazing. It was a real privilege. It was amazing to do that.
That was such peak 90s stuff to happen as well.
Yeah, it was mad.
And were you in Australia when they were in the Eurovision as well? Were you there at the time?
It was a different time of year. It was a different time of year. But yeah, for some reason, which is cool, but Australia's in the Eurovision,
What do you make of that?
A special,
They're always so good as well.
They're amazing. I know the artists. They're actually
Really?
big artists in Australia. The people that have performed are really big names in Australia, like sell out arenas across the country constantly.
So that's their secret.
So so they're sending the equivalent of Niall Horan or Hosier or whatever to the Eurovision. So these are well-rounded performers.
Would you ever consider doing the Eurovision?
No, I've written a few songs for different acts over the years. I had a Danish entry, I had an Irish entry. I know it's an honour, but no, I wouldn't enter myself. No.
Perfect. So let me see. Would you be able to give us a TV show, a movie, a podcast that you love listening to?
Podcast, not really, but movie. I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's just brilliant.
Oh yeah,
you got to watch it, man.
Tarantino.
It's brilliant. Absolutely. Leave your brain outside. It's brilliant acting, amazing filming. it's the cinematography, everything about it, the sets. It's just cool. And Brad Pitt is the coolest bastard in the world. He's just as cool as they
He
come.
deserved that award.
Yeah, he deserved it, and his speech is just. We all want to say that about our mate, or when you're in a position like that. It was just cool. And TV show. My wife and I are big box set fans, so we just finished 2 seasons of The Sinner. I don't know if you've seen that, which is a Netflix show. Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel, yeah.
Yes, it's season 1. I think she produced season 2. That's worth a watch. Lots of good TV. Lots of it's amazing. I mean, there's so much content out there, so much to do. You can't pick.
There's nearly too much. It's kind of
there is. I mean,
to know where to start.
Yeah. I mean, I've done all the Game of Thrones and all those different shows, which we all love, but. Now, it's finding something like Hunters on Amazon Prime. Just started that, right? I'm only on episode 1. Does it get really good?
Oh, it's like episode 1 is probably I don't know how to describe it. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in definitely.
Yeah.
Storm and I are watching that. Does it get get better?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah. Because with some shows, some seasons, the first episodes aren't as good, and everyone's going, "Oh, you got to watch this." And I said, "Oh." I went off it after the first step. It didn't, and a lot of people did that with Game of Thrones and a lot of Suits and shows. And then when you invest in it, and then you just get hooked. So I think you got to get past episode 2 of most seasons of shows to really get into them.
That's it. And is there any albums that you listen to at the moment that you particularly like as well?
What am I listening to? I just started listening to the Justin Bieber record. I don't think it's as good as the previous one. I want to really like it because I thought the one previous, whatever it was called, the Skillax one, that was a good record. What am I listening to? I listen to a load of vinyl. My wife bought me a vinyl player. Actually, my kids bought me some vinyl last night. They bought me Captain Fantastic, Elton John on vinyl. So I was listening to that last night. So, wow,
That's
cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. That was last night. Yeah,
brilliant. I'll leave this for the last one, I guess. If you were to put your own fictional boy band together, who would you put in it?
Fictional, as in they're not pop stars now. They're not musicians.
Well, they could be pop stars.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
So the ultimate boy band, basically. Ultimate boy band. Okay. Robbie Williams. Let me see. Who else? Justin Timberlake.
Too many to choose from.
But I mean, I'm trying to find the absolute ultimate for you. Robbie Williams, Justin Timberlake, and I'd say Gary Barlow, but I've picked Robbie already, so we can only have one member from each band. So we'd say Robbie, Justin, your man from the Backstreet Boys. Is it Nick? Is that his name? Nick. It is Nick. Is it Nick?
Nicholas?
No, the blondie guy. Is it? Maybe it's not Nick. It is Nick, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's Nick. The blondie fellow who kind of out front. He's good. So that's 3. How many do you need? 5?
As many as you want. You
Danny from The Script. I put him in a boy band. I think he was in a boy band. I think he was way back. Yeah, I think he was. I think he was in a band called My Town. So that's 4, and you need one more. It's going to have to be me. I mean, just to top it off. Come on. There you go.
Ronan, thanks so much for
joining us.
Thank you, Owen.
Lovely to see you.
Plenty of gossip there.
Plenty of gossip, yes. Thanks a million. Good to see you.